Speaking of peak throughput, Mark showed some speed slides. This is really a test that I just did, peculiar to the setup that we do for the apparel industry. The P7570 has a new bigger print head. It runs at different resolutions from the P7000, P9000, P5000. So the traditional way we set up the P7000 is 720 by 720 super, and the time I got to print on that sort of legacy setup was 2.5 minutes, right? And the new printer with its 600 by 600 high quality mode, which is very equivalent, it's the closest equivalent mode, just over a minute to print that same thing. So total kind of hit go in FireXF to the print cutting off, minute 12 versus 250. So that's it's definitely twice as fast. When Mark says, oh, it's up to 1 point whatever times as fast, in our first lab testing here, it appears to be twice as fast, no joke. And so there's some interesting benefits there, especially after the year we've had. There's been some discussion, how many printers do I really need? And so, there's kind of two ways to think about it. With the same size fleet, you can produce twice as much output, with a printer that's twice as fast. Or you can have half as many printers moving forward and still have the same output. So, it's less to maintain. The ink is fresher the fewer printers you have, because you're sort of opening fewer cartridges, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of real big benefits to using the right number of printers for the amount of output that you have to produce. And I think the interesting thing is to do some combination of those, and to, you don't necessarily need to cut your fleet in half, but you can get both benefits by right sizing the fleet to have, 80% of the printers if you're thinking of replacing, your whole fleet. So speaking of legacy fleets, this is a little diagram, a little 2D plot of the gamut of these printers. I've got two P7000 printers, two different P7000s, calibrated using FireXF. So you see how close they are, one to the other. They're sort of laying right on top of each other. Those are the white lines, the gamut shape there. And this is right at the L-star 50. So this is the middle of the road brightness in this 2D chart. And then you see the 7570 in that color plot, and it's basically right on top of the other two printers. So Mark mentioned that the gamut of the 7570 is slightly larger than the legacy P7000 CE, and that's been our experience as well. So the nice thing is that the slightly larger gamut of the new printer allows you to really make it match the old printers, and that's kind of I think the number one thing we're going for in a fleet environment. So all those little dots are the Pantone TCX library, all the TCX colors plotted against the printer gamuts. So, and here we have a 3D view, so you can start to see, what the shape of that gamut looks like from black to white as well. And it's that same small slice of TCX colors that are outside of the gamut of all these printers. So it's not 100% hitting TCX. All of them are not in gamut, but the vast majority are. And there's no real difference. You're not losing any. And like Mark mentioned, you might gain a few once you have a pure 7570, 9570 fleet, and you're not trying to match the old printers anymore. So you sort of it's a win-win on gamut news.